I was just saying yes.
I
should have.
Zach. Zach. Come on.
Yes.
So, yes, a lot of the stuff, presentations are all you can get. And then this is just a CS gets here. This guy's from this Wait, does anyone see my camera?
Howdy, Senate. I call this meeting to order at 7:09 p.m. on Wednesday, October 31st. We'll begin with opening roll call.
Howdy, Senate. Howdy. SVP Sharp.
Howdy.
Chief Justice Newman. Howdy. Speaker Parker.
Howdy.
Chair Wilson.
Howdy.
Chair Mandel.
Howdy.
Chair Wolfen.
Howdy.
Chair Mendoza. Chair Powell.
Howdy.
Chair Arroyoso.
Howdy.
Chair Tomato.
Howdy.
Chair Pintar.
Howdy.
Senator Ahmed. Senator Amini. Senator Becky.
Howdy.
Senator Berger.
Howdy.
Senator Black. Senator Carlson.
Howdy.
Senator Carter. Senator Castellanos. Senator Collard. Senator Collins.
Howdy.
Senator Crossan. Senator Dang.
Howdy.
Senator DeGreat.
Howdy.
Senator Elizondo. Senator Fisher. Senator Lieberman.
Howdy.
Senator Gutson. Senator Hardison.
Howdy.
Senator Ferrara.
Howdy.
Senator Harris.
Howdy.
Senator Hitchman.
Howdy.
Senator Hull.
Howdy.
Senator Hutto.
Howdy.
Senator Johnson.
Howdy.
Senator Virginia Crowe.
Howdy.
Senator Olivia Crowe.
Howdy.
Senator Lopez.
Howdy.
Senator Latrell.
Howdy.
Senator Maldonado. Senator Mancias.
Howdy.
Senator Maples.
Howdy.
Senator Martin.
Howdy.
Senator McGill.
Howdy.
Senator Moore.
Howdy.
Senator Alejandro Moreno.
Howdy.
Senator Luis Moreno. Senator Musil. Senator Nabila. Senator Nava. Senator Oldham.
Howdy.
Senator Palmer.
Howdy.
Senator Pauls.
Howdy.
Senator Papula.
Howdy.
Senator Ramirez.
Howdy.
Senator Roberts. Senator Clarissa Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Senator John Ryan Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Senator Salazar. Senator Scogan.
Howdy.
Senator Schaefer.
Howdy.
Senator Stigall. Senator Summerall.
Howdy.
Senator Thompson.
Howdy.
Senator Tran. Senator Tomlinson.
Howdy.
Senator Lick. Senator Vallejo. Senator Wataka. Senator Walter.
Howdy.
Senator Walter. Senator Weeks. Senator Wheeler.
Howdy.
Senator Young.
Howdy.
Senator Zuniga.
Senator Bulick's here. Sorry. I don't know.
Okay, we'll now move into a period of invocation and pledges of allegiance led by Senator Benke. If you will all please rise. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all here safely. Let us be diligent in our dealings. Represent those elected to represent. Let us work together well tonight, respect each other's properly. Let everyone travel home safely this evening. Great week. Good luck on everything going on in your lives. Please be with all of us as we move forward. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen. Please join me in pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please remain standing. We will now move into a reading of the mission statement and Aggie Honor Code read by our longest-serving senator, Senator Crowe.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. Nike does not lie, cheat, or steal. I tolerate those who do. Yay.
See ya. We'll now move into a singing of the Spirit of Aggieland.
There's a spirit in every. It's the spirit of
Please be seated. We will now move into a period of open forum first by recognizing Tate Banks on behalf of Senate.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Professor Banks here. I teach Senate 144, and at this time I would like to invite everybody who's in costume down to the front so we can have the Senate costume.
She didn't put that there. Here, Johnny. Probably too tall.
Ethan Gleberman's not even wearing your costume. What was the decision model on that one?
That works.
Gary.
I'm in that.
Sherry, come on, get up here.
If you don't talk, you won't have.
Okay, everyone move 2 steps to your right. Ready?
Let's light up.
1, 2.
We are so coordinated.
Did you get that?
Are they all the same frame now?
3.
Count us down.
You gotta say all right, all right, all right.
You guys are good.
Thanks,
Matthew Connor's from Texas.
Yeah, we don't like it. Thank you.
Oh, what? This is what others
Want to go and come down? We'll do our DDP. So you can scratch this off.
Okay.
So also we have an actual open forum thing. So by the code, we are required to put on a development day in January, right? Thing is, y'all have already served for several months at that point, been several meetings. So we don't want to just go over the basic stuff with y'all. So myself and Chair Wilson would like to take this time to ask y'all for any suggestions you have on what we should go over in our January development day. So just go ahead and use your questions to give us. And with that, anything else? We yield our time to.
Yes, Chair Chimada.
Church Consensus, I suggest that, whenever you have development, that missing roll call at the beginning is not, missing roll call.
That's a good point of information if you didn't already know that, so.
The more we get to know, the less boring it is.
Senator McGill, please rise. And then in caucus.
Right, we do college Friday last night. Nervous on the shoot.
Senator, Senator Palmer.
Yeah, Senator Palmer off campus. Over like backing up. Really, I'm new to, or I'm new to that. Also just basic like.
Senator Maples.
Anyone else?
Are there any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, thanks.
Thanks.
We'll now recognize Dylan Manchak on behalf of exec.
Alright, howdy guys, my name is Dylan. So my name is Dylan Manchak, I am VP of Communications for Executive Cabinet. I've had the honor of speaking to you guys before, and I'm really excited today because with the help of Colton Mendel and Tate Banks, we put out a survey, an outreach survey to the student body about their opinion on student government. And I have some really awesome results that I want to share with you guys. Try the other one. That looks pretty good. Awesome. So this is a few of the information, or some of the data I compiled in one infographic that I thought would be beneficial for a broader sense of SGA. The original survey had 12 questions and got about 350 something responses. And this is based off those responses, and there's some really cool information that I would love to share with you guys. Starting out, sometimes we kind of wonder if students want to hear about student government. Well, here's the answer to your question. 72.9% of respondents really do want to hear about student government. So, if they're not responsive to us, sometimes this data kind of shows that they do want to hear from us. We just need to find the best way to reach out to them that they respond to. Our SGA rating from the survey was a 2.85 out of 5. That's not the best, but it's not the worst. It shows that we have room for improvement. Inspirational, there's always room for improvement. And I hope that's what this survey inspires. Going down to the percentages in the middle, I put this on here to kind of measure the success of student government reaching out about the Howdy to Health campaign. We're halfway through the first semester and 50% of students were aware of the Howdy Health campaign. So I guess by that data by January, 100%, we'll see what happens. I put on there 16% are familiar with the Matthew Gaines bill. That bill is going to be heavily marketed, I know, in the coming weeks. So more students will get to know about it, but I wanted to put that for reference, just so you guys have a feel of what percentage of the student body has an idea of this bill. 77.7% did not know what Senate Open Forum was. Complementing that is 60.4% said they would not know how to reach out to students. Going down to the bottom, top 3 directives of interest. Number 1 was communication and transparency, which I'm happy about because that's my job, so I hope they care. Number 2 is health, and that's something really exciting too because we are addressing that with the Howdy Health campaign. And number 3 is diversity and inclusion. And the top 5 ways to catch attention in order is bulk mail, social media, board meeting presentations, banner holding, flyers, and sandwich boards. So real quick, I just want to talk about kind of what I am doing as a result of the survey to kind of give you an idea of some practical applications to address some of the things in the survey. For me personally, I within my role, I want to get together an SGA transparency packet. And this packet is basically going to put down code that applies to students in Student Senate, along with Senate etiquette, rules about open forum, how to dress, your time limits, how to present to Senate, which I really am not 100% about. So I know there's a lot of students that really don't know how to do it. As well as like code for referendums and how all that works. This is really just something that says, hey, you're a student, and you don't have to have a role in student government to really have a voice in effect. Here's how you can do it. Here's a packet. With also some SGA organizational things on there. Going on to the board meeting presentations, we're already addressing that with Sarah Sweeney, VP of Operations. She is already setting that up with you guys and executive cabinet, so we're already hitting that one. That's exciting. Flyers and sandwich boards is something we're doing for the Holiday Health campaign as well. And so, I hope you guys can take this survey and really apply it to your position of how you can best serve the student body. And with that, I yield my time to the floor for.
Are there any questions for Dylan? Yes, Senator Lopez.
Senator Lopez, College of Liberal Arts. Are you still accepting responses?
So the survey is accepting responses right now, and the reason being, I just want to see how many we can get trickle in, because I didn't expect this much. If you would like to see the entire survey, it's a little bit more expansive, and it also has comments from students on suggestions on how to better SGA. So if you would like the entire survey, reach out to me. My email is pretty available, just doing that in effective, and I will send you the access, or if I can, take things will let me know.
Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, Academic Affairs, will you consider doing another survey to years?
So thank you so much for asking that. Absolutely, because part of the survey was that students said, this is a cool survey, we want more. So we're trying to think of more ways to incorporate opinion polls on social media and stuff like that. But I also am looking into how we can do a survey at the end of the year to kind of see if anything has come up out of the percentages and see if anything's improved. But additionally, we do have an SGA concern form that Sarah Sweeney also put out, and it's students reaching out to student government with concerns, and we're going to respond and let them know what's going on. So that might complement, this results as well. So we'll see what happens. We have all of these people's emails, so we might send it out to them. We might send it out to the entire student body. We'll see what happens. But I'll definitely be in contact with them.
Chair Rabioso.
Chair Rabioso, Media Relations. Are these percentages based off the questions?
Yes, absolutely. So at the bottom, you can see it's 352 respondents are on this data sheet. And we sent that out through bulk mail and through social media. And so obviously it's not 60,000, but 352 is a pretty good amount for a sample, I would say.
Senator Ahmed.
The SG concern survey that you guys have, are you allowed to send the link to the rest of us that we can find it out as well?
Okay, so yeah, we definitely do have that, but it's not a survey. I'm sorry, I should have clarified. It's just a form where students can put their email and say what they want, what concerns they want us to address on campus. So we can definitely send that out to you. That's something we are trying to promote. So if you want to get in touch with Sarah Sweeney, VP of Operations, definitely help you out with that. We are trying.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? None, thank you.
Thank you guys.
I will now recognize Reagan Thompson on behalf of Aggie Democrats.
Hi guys.
Howdy.
All right, this is the last week I am up here. Well, early voting ends on Friday. So if you have not voted, go vote, because Tuesday is going to be an ad house. If you are planning on voting on Tuesday, consider voting before then. Because that would be a smart idea, because right now our early voting numbers are looking like we might outpace the presidential election from 2016. Awesome. So if anybody remembers that, I don't, I wasn't here, but the lines were said to be long. So if you have classes on Tuesday or something like that, I'd suggest taking care of it before this Friday at 7 p.m. Early voting's in the MSC. Everybody sees the signs. I'm sure it's super easy to find, and the lines are not that long right now. I went to vote. It took 20 minutes. I went. So be sure to do that. Other than that, if you guys have any questions about voting, bring any form of Texas ID. That's all you need to go in. I've heard people talk about how they need to bring their voter registration card. Absolutely not true. You can just any form of text. But other than that, if you have any questions, please.
Senator Lopez.
Senator Lopez, College of Liberal Arts. If you are not registered in the Brazos County, but still registered somewhere in Texas, can you
Okay, so yes, you can, if you were like planning on voting back home, you should be able to go in and say, hey, I, am registered to vote back home. I want to vote on statewide elections, they won't. But, yes. Although I didn't do that, I voted for Rex.
Permission to follow up?
Go ahead.
So, I saw this flyer going around that you can vote if you're registered in Texas, but it would have to be a limited ballot, and it would have to be before November 2nd, and it would have to be at the Brazos voting, election days, right?
That's probably right, yeah. You, but I know that like the limited voting applies to like, it has to be like statewide election, Senate, governor. But yeah, I follow that. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Senator Palmer?
Senator Palmer off campus, how long did it take you to do your?
Good question. I started at 5:30 and I was done by 6. Saturday night, when I went out to party, it took a great deal longer because I applied late night. I didn't feel like doing that.
Are there any other questions for Senator Thompson? Seeing none, thank you. We will now recognize Katina Economides on behalf of the Association of Former Students.
All right, howdy Senate.
Howdy.
So outside of SGA, I currently serve as a student assistant in the Association of Former Students under their strategic engagement. So in preparation for the upcoming legislative session, we are hosting an Orange and Maroon Legislative Day. So please don't miss me when I say this, but the association teams up with Texas X's in Austin, and we host a large-scale joint legislative day. So you've got people from administration here at A&M, you have former students, current students that go up and get paired with some members from UT, and their administration, and you go visit every single, you personally, but every single office in Austin will be visited, and you guys will be advocating for joint legislative priorities of A&M and UT. So the student application will be opening tomorrow. You all will get an email and you can sign up via Maroon link. The application is going to be open for about a week. It's just a couple questions about, what is the Aggie networking to you? How do you think you can benefit Texas A&M by advocating on our behalf? And then if you're selected, you'll interview with the association. All costs are paid for by the association, so transportation, food, everything. OMLD is on Tuesday, February 5th. So just keep that in mind if you are one of the 25 current students that are selected to go. Just kind of have that in mind. You will get a note from your professor. But that's it. I encourage all of you guys to apply. We've always had a big SGA presence of the 25 students going to Orange and Maroon Legislative Day. And so I'd love to see more SGA support. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Are there any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. I will now recognize Gregory Cross on behalf of Legislative Relations.
It's good to have the tabs. So just a quick update on LR. I know it's not spring yet. I'd just like to thank y'all for passing the legislation we have passed. We're going to pass, hopefully, the income and credit transfer resolution next session. Eric couldn't appear tonight. He had some kind of test. It sounded like a scary class, that kind of stuff. But I did want to give you an update on meetings. I wasn't bullcrapping y'all whenever I said I was going to set up meetings like immediately. So just a quick rundown. On Thursday, the 8th, we have meetings with Morrison, Rainey, and Alvarado. And then on Tuesday, we have a meeting with Clardy Turner. And then on the next Thursday, we have a meeting with Senator Betancourt, and I'm still waiting on all of the members of the Higher Education Committee that aren't either the chairperson or the vice chairperson. Funny thing, I won't tell you who, but someone actually isn't coming back, and I found that out. That was kind of embarrassing. But me and the receptionist had a great talk about getting the contact information for the new staff members as soon as the new representative gets in there. And then also, one of the offices doesn't even have their legislative director like hired yet. So Texas A&M Advocacy is actually farther along than a state office. So that's kind of miraculous and also kind of embarrassing for that office. But now I send open to questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Cross? Mr. Walter?
Mr. Walter, Finance. So to clarify, for new business, the credit transfer resolution that would vote on tonight, so should we go refill, or would you prefer the errors to be removed?
Out of order.
Yeah, so we're gonna move that, and then we'll take care of it whenever he's here.
Tim Banks?
For Tim Banks, you got any brief updates for us on THCC?
Yeah, disappointment. No, but seriously, I haven't heard a peep out of them, except that it's December 1st. I had a conference call with TU, thank you for reminding me about that. And they haven't heard anything about TSGC either. So that's really concerning. So on December 1st, keep it in your thoughts, prayers, and meditations. We're gonna have to try to get that train back on track this spring, because it's a lot of power whenever you walk into an office and you say, look, TSGC, we're representing over 500,000 college students in Texas, and we support this issue. That's incredibly important to us, but yeah, no, I haven't heard anything out of them, and that's very concerning.
We should follow up.
Go ahead.
Keep our fingers crossed, so we're talking to the next director.
Yes, that would be a good idea. It's the Texas Student Government Coalition. So like Baylor, I know this wasn't your question, but Baylor, TU, Tech, even like the smaller universities like Texas Women's, Lutheran, the Lutheran University, like almost everyone in Texas is part of it. So that's 500,000 college students. Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you.
Thanks and getting them.
I will now recognize Adel Kuntar on behalf of the Arab Student Association.
Howdy, Senate. I actually sent y'all a picture. Can you open up the email for the flyer? Not that one. Yeah, go up, actually. Thanks. Yep. Right, cool. So this Saturday, Arab Student Association is hosting Flag Day. This is their third annual Flag Day. We are co-hosting that with the Brazilian Student Association, Puerto Rican Student Association, Gamma Phi Omega, Saudi Student Association, Indonesian Student Association, and French Club. We're also gonna have 7 performances there. I believe there's like Tango Billy dancers. The African Student Association is gonna perform, mariachi band. There's a lot of people, and it's free food as well. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3 from 1 up until 3 on Saturday in Road 601, I believe. So if y'all have free time, make sure to come out. I know it's right after Ring Day, which congrats if you're getting your rings. But please try to come out. It's free food, and it's a very, it's a cultural experience. We get to try different, like, yeah, thanks for digging.
Are there any questions for Chair Kuntar? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
I will now recognize Senator Thompson again on behalf of the Helpline Awareness Month.
Howdy guys, sorry, I know I came up here and said this the last time you see me, and now I'm up here for a second time, but I got chewed out over text by somebody that was expecting me to say something about Helpline. So, I just wanted to remind everyone that it is Helpline Awareness Week, from Monday to Friday this week, and we're in the middle of our Howdy to Help campaign right now, which is going really well. So, Helpline is a great service that's provided by the Student Counseling Services. Their number is 979-845-2700. I don't know by now because I am being graduated by my friend. But you will notice that like throughout the MSC, they're giving out like Helpline pins and giving out information about that. But it's just a service that allows you to call in when you just need someone to talk to, regardless of what you're struggling with, whether it be you're stressed out about homework, whether you're just sad and need someone they were just in, one of our affiliates that we just recently passed, increasing awareness for them. They're really great service. I encourage you guys to look more into them. That's helpline 979-845-2700. Thank you. Last month.
Are there any questions for the presenter? Chair Walther?
Chair Walter, is it true that the helpline number is on the back of your student ID?
Yes, it is.
Paul,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
is it true that their hours are from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. on weekdays and then 24 hours during the weekend?
I think that is correct.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
I will now finally recognize Chair Powell on behalf of the Tree of Life Memorial.
Hey guys, I don't really know how to really truly talk about this in a proper way. I actually was debating whether or not I should even speak about this. I went to my dog last night, so I about it. It's just after a tragedy like what happened last Friday night, like some people just some people might just feel really hopeless. As an engineering student, like all my professors teach that there's always a solution to the problem. But this week it just feels sometimes like there's not really a solution. There's no way to truly properly pay respects and absorb the magnitude of the deadliest tragedy in Jewish American history. The only thing we can do as a community is really move forward, take steps to prevent something like this ever happening. The first step, I think, in doing so is never forgetting what happened at the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh and remembering the victims. So I'm going to go over the names of the victims. Rose Malinger was 97. She was known as a pillar of the congressional community, and congregational community, having been a member for over 6 decades. According to her family, despite her age, she always retained her sharp wit, humor, and intelligence from whenever she's young, all the way to her last day. Dr. Jerry Rabinowitz was 66. He's an admired doctor at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center and a hero to HIV patients in the area. He's known as a go-to doctor at a time when stigma around disease was at an all-time low. He was killed whenever he ran out into the open to help those who didn't. Cecil and David Rosenthal were 59 and 54. They were known to have spent all their time at the synagogue day and night, as well as with each other. And though they each had developmental disabilities, they were known as fixtures of the Jewish community and the Tree of Life synagogue, several members of the community. Like Daniel Stein was 71. He's known by his family as a simple man who just loved going to synagogue and spending time with his 7-month-old grandson. We now will never know his grandfather. He also served as a mentor and as president of the Foundation for Faith. Richard Godfrey, 65. He was a successful dentist who had recanted to Judaism after his own father's death. He also ran a community clinic that was known to treat underinsured and uninsured patients, many of whom were immigrants and refugees who never been moved. Joyce Feinberg was 75, a research specialist at the University of Pittsburgh Learning, Research and Development. She was known to all of her children and grandchildren as really fun. And one of them saying that she's known for her insistence on learning social media in order to keep up with society. Melvin Wax was 88, and a retired accountant who was one of the few people to always show up early for services. He was really known for his kindness. One of his friends encountered a time when he was in the hospital for 6 weeks with pneumonia, and Melvin went out of his way to ask his wife at synagogue services. The hospital reached phone numbers that he checked up on him. Sylvan and Bernice Simon were 86 and 84. They were killed in the same synagogue that David married in. The couple were known for their kindness and generosity for the community throughout their entire life and throughout their membership. And Irving Younger was 69. He was a former small business owner and youth baseball coach, and known for his volunteer work at the synagogue. He would show up early and leave late whenever he was asked to call upon him. Those are the likely victims. And it's just one of those things you just don't never think that this would happen. freedom and safety. And it's just unfortunate that something like this could ever happen. There's nothing we can really do to fix this for the families impacted by this act of terror. There's nothing we can do for the Jewish community at large that could really truly heal this film. However, there's a really big movement going on called Show Up for Shabbat, where everyone, no matter the faith, will be trying to pack synagogues this Friday night. I know the Hillel here, which is just down the road on George Bush, has a service at 6:30, and the Chabad on Texas University is having a service at 7:45, and we'll have dinner afterwards. And I really encourage anyone who can, who's available, to please go. Their support for the Jewish community overall, and maybe having a more services on that. The only other thing I could really think of that we can do to go forward is just do good in our community, no matter how big or small. Today, for the rest of our lives, for the rest of our time as students, Senate, anywhere we are, just make sure you're always spreading positivity, love, and just doing good deeds for the community at large. To conclude, I want to say the Shema, which is a popular Jewish prayer, in memory of the 11 victims of Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, people of Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is.
Any questions? We'll now move into a period of approval of the 10/17/2018 minutes. Are there any objections to the October 17th minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the 10/17 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into a special presentation from SAFA. So if you guys please shut your laptops, it's an important presentation where we get to give feedback. So please welcome them.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
My name is Anthony Bicossin, and I've had the pleasure of serving as the chair of the Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board, or SAFAB, for this past fiscal year 20. So SAFAB, if y'all don't know, is an advisory board within the Division of Student Affairs that makes recommendations on the allocation of the University Advancement Fee, which is a fee that every student at this university pays. And in terms of recommending the allocation for specific budgetary line items, different divisional departments in student affairs. Next slide, please. And so this is a slide flow chart of the student fee review process. As you can see, it starts with departmental budget requests, goes up to their staff, and then we, as the Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board, make our recommendations after a long deliberation process. And these are the departments within this division that we have jurisdiction over in terms of our recommendations. There are 20 departments here, and as you can see, it covers a wide variety of things from student counseling services to the Memorial Student Center. Next slide. And so SAFAB is composed of 9 members of the student body, undergraduate or graduate. Each member goes through a significant vetting process and is chosen by a panel, including myself, the chair, the Speaker of the Senate, the SVP, and the CSC president for the Graduate Professionals Council. We then go through an intensive training in where we learn the budgetary process of the university in regards to the UAF and the different kinds of missions that departments within the division are going for. Next slide. And so this is a request overview. As you can see, we got requests for approximately $1.196 million. Of that was $1.1 million was for recurring funds, meaning it would be recurring every single year until that position and then one-time funds of $62,950, approximately $1.2 million. So SAFAB recommendations. So the way voting works is each member of the board makes their vote after we deliberate each vote, each request. And so these are in priority order from 1 down to the very last one. And so 9-0 would be highest priorities. And after we vote, we prioritize them within the actual 9-0. and so forth. And so I just wanted to draw your attention to the first three on this list. They're all for positions at this university. As the Student Affairs Advisory Board, we try to focus a lot of our efforts on making sure that our faculty and staff are taken care of, and that we show that we as students care about the people who are taking care of us, basically. And so we generally have our faculty and staff kind of budgetary requests at the top of our priority list. And besides that, do you have any questions? Budgetary requests, or any questions at all so far? Next slide. So I'm just going to go through these. There's quite a few requests, but all of these requests are online, and we'll publish our priorities as well. And so next slide. These are 8-1s, Student Research Week, GPSC. As you all know, GPSC is a Graduate Professional Student Council. Our governing student body organizations such as SGA and GPSC have the right to come to the Student Affairs Advisory Board to ask us for any kind of budgetary requests y'all see fit. And so that was one of the requests that came out of GPSC that I want to draw your attention to. Next slide. These are more student internships for university art galleries, department operations for multicultural services. Slide. I'm just going to spend a few seconds on these, and if you all have any questions, feel free to ask. Next slide. So once we're past 5.4, 4.5, these are not recommended. So these go to the BPSA as we, as the Student Affairs Advisory Board, have determined that these are the requests that we don't need for the current affair. So you can see here, next slide. Next slide. And then 09, so these are for sure, we don't want these kinds of requests. Next slide. And then just general overview of one-time funding. So one-time funding is a little different. It doesn't come out of the University of Amsterdam. Typically, it comes out of a separate one-time funding pool. And so there's that. And then so the recommendation overview, one last time. So we got $1.196 million of requests again. And then in terms of what we recommended, we recommended $19,155. That being $719,000 in recurring funding, and then $99,450 for one time. With that, I'll take any questions, anything to do with our review process or the requests in general.
Are there any questions? SVP Sharp.
Well, one-time funding.
For
Was that included under one?
For the Aggie Recovery Community? No, so I'll go through a different process. So it won't go through Student Affairs Advisory Board. For that specific request, Dr. Pugh will be doing. We'll be going through a different kind of budgetary.
Rotem Banks.
Rotem Banks. If we could go back one slide, Josh. Maybe just yeah. So it says that you actually recommended more one-time funds than were requested. So if you guys just go over why that happened.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I should have went over that. So the Student Affairs Advisory Board has the power to make amendments to requests. And so there are a couple requests from the different departments that we got that we deemed not appropriate to be recurring funding. And so we then made recommendations to give them one-time funding.
Senator Oldham.
Senator Oldham offices, what are the things that you do when deciding what to recommend?
Yeah, so it's a very long and deliberate process that we go through. So every single member of the board serves as a liaison to a different department within. So in terms of how involved we are with getting to know these departments and their needs, there's a member of our board who is within the departments and having regular meetings with department staff, and faculty, and heads in order to establish that kind of relationship and understand what's happening. And then in a broader sense, we also elicit feedback from the students. I elicited that feedback through an online form that I present to students via blast email. And so we got over 1,000 unique feedbacks from students of the campus. And so we take into account, like you said, student safety, student needs, accounting services, disability services. We take into account the missions of the specific department, so whether or not these requests will actually go to fulfilling their mission and the broader mission of the business there in the university, and whether or reaching our goal of increasing retention and getting us there.
Senator Palmer.
Senator Palmer, off campus, do you guys look at historical numbers that you've given to different departments, your recommendations this year? Does it look like some departments are favored more than others, more like your annual budget?
Yeah, so we do that. Great point. So we have the archives of basically all of our fee recommendations for the past decade and a half or so. And so we do look at how much money has these departments been asking for in these past few years. How has that been changing in terms of their operating budget? We look at their growth in terms of the demands that are on the division or the departments themselves. For an example, music activities was one of the big requesters this year, and they specifically haven't asked for any money from SFAB within the past 7 or 8 years. And so we take those things into account whenever departments are asking for money and whether or not they're actually having kinds of long-term effects.
Senator Huchman.
You mentioned the credits.
Has made requests before, and you mentioned this. Can you describe that process of how SGA?
Yeah, so you all go through the same kind of process that every department in the division goes through. So in the spring is whenever our fiscal year starts. And so in the spring, we have presentations that are kind of general overview presentations of different departments. So those include GPSC, SGA, Student Counseling Services, all 20 departments that are under our jurisdiction. And then in the fall, every department, including SGA and GPSC, has the ability to come to the FAB and make requests in terms of what y'all want to have. For example, GPSC asked for a student research week coordinator. And in terms of how that works, the basis is we have a request form and you fill it out with whatever request you deem appropriate. And that could be from anything as programming funding to new positions. And so SGA historically hasn't really asked for it.
Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, Rules and Regulations, do y'all receive a report on how the departments have used their money, or used the money they requested, and do you take that into account?
Oh, in terms of the way requests work is they're actually defined line item requests. And so they'll go to specific things within those departments. So we generally know that the money that we're giving them for their request is going to that thing. So if they're asking for a career ladder promotion for an employee, then we know that money is going to go to that career ladder promotion. And that's just kind of how
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you.
Perfect. And then also just one last note, as SGA, y'all have the opportunity to also give your feedback in terms of our recommendations and if you pass legislation in terms of supporting or not supporting our recommendations, that would go straight to. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right, you'll now move into a period of emergency legislation with the reading of SB 71-14, the rewriting of the SR 7 bill. And just as clarification, emergency legislation has to be voted on by IA at our meeting in order to be considered for emergency legislation. So this is a bill that will only be read once and be voted on tonight. And the reasoning for this, I'm sure they'll get into it a little more, is this bill needs to be ready to be in front of administration by Friday. So this is an important bill, so please pay attention and ask thorough questions. Chair Wilson, hold on, Chair Wilson.
Sorry, this needed to be done earlier, but I'm Chair Wilson, Rules and Regulations. This needed to be done at the beginning of the meeting. Kind of forgot. I move that we suspend dress code.
Multiple seconds. All those in favor of suspending dress code for this meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So this is the work of several years actually of putting this different student leaders and leaders coming together to work on this rule, this revision of Student Rule 7. Some of the major additions, I'm going to just go over, but one of the major additions and why we brought this up is in order to excuse absences for interviews for adoption. And finding a way to do that that will student, faculty member, administration, all that. We've also included some more language to specify like excuse absences for admission procedures, as well as presentations for research. And so, anyway, the little bit of the backstory behind this went through faculty senate, I believe, last year, and it did not do so well, in large part due to faculty members not believing that they properly have the information to excuse absence, like on an individual instructor basis. So it didn't really do so well, but anyway, this year, me and Joe Walter sat down with the professor, Dr. Serescu, who's been also working on this for a long time. And we sat down, we wrote out this language to like basically come up with a way to get this to faculty senate. Actually, I need to backtrack a little more before that meeting. Me and my committee, we met with a lot of faculty senators and academic senators to see their concerns. Why they believe it didn't work out last time, what we need to add on to the rule in order to make it pass this time. We had got a lot of really great feedback, extensive feedback from a lot of them. We put a lot of it into this language, almost all, to make sure that faculty senate was good with the rule and everything like that. So then we took those the feedback and notes to Dr. Serescu. We sat down for probably like 2 hours writing out this rule to make sure everything was great, and we're going to get this passed in faculty senate. And the main thing that we came up with, a good solution, faculty senate concerns, was adding a process for how to excuse absences that would go through a dean or dean designee. The reason for this is because a dean or dean designee might, will know a lot more about whether a job interview is legitimate or not. So that way you can distinguish between someone applying for a job at McDonald's to avoid an exam versus applying for a job at Boeing. And each dean would know, like, okay, there's certain super days, or like days where they can only interview up during these times. They would have access to that information, unlike individual professors. So that was a huge addition to our rule.
That was also for presentations.
Yeah, for presentations, as well for research conferences. For example, if you're an engineering student, you're presenting some research, it might be difficult for each professor to know if that conference is legitimate or not, but even if he does meet with the department, have that. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to go over some of the key additions, I guess, to this rule. I hope everyone's read over it, and if they have any questions. Actually, can you scroll down just so they can kind of.
Yeah, he about covered it, but the short end of it is that we're creating 2 different paths to get an excused absence, one through your prof and one through the dean of your college. And we feel like this is a little better way to have, whereby there's certain absences that might need a little bit of a technical background to kind of understand. That's where we go. And then there's some pretty obvious stuff like sick days or death in the family, that kind of stuff, where you just need pretty obvious clarification.
So, and I just wanted to add one thing about this. I actually served as academic affairs chair around this time last year when we passed this last. Student Senate has passed legislation supporting the rule changes to 307 2 times, I believe, so far, and each time it's been voted down by faculty senate. I was at the meeting where it was voted down last. But it's really looking like the stars are aligning this time. I also spoke to Dr. Serescu. I spoke to Provost Shirky about this. It's seeming like everything is just coming together where this is the time. This is the time where it's actually going to happen. When Provost Shirky was here some weeks ago, and she said that she was willing to circumvent faculty senate's authority to actually make this a thing, that was a huge deal. That was an absolutely huge deal for this, and faculty senate wasn't that happy about it. But that kind of guarantees that, like, if we do this, if we actually push for this as a student body, this is actually going to happen. So it's disheartening, you know, when student senate pushes for this for years and years and it doesn't happen just for faculty senate. This time, this is a piece of legislation that can actually make a very sizable university and do a lot of good for students. And this is the time. This is really looking like this is the time.
kind of on that theme, there's a lot of input from this, like both from like me and my committee and student senators, but also like a lot of great teamwork with through Dr. Cameron's office. She actually wrote, she completely rewrote Student Rule 7 before we added our own changes, make it way cleaner and more streamlined. All that we added in our own changes that were included from a lot of feedback from faculty. So really, this is like this language is like a culmination of like three big factors, I guess, that need to approve this. And that's superintendent, faculty, senate, and I'm really hoping this will be like one of those moments where we come together and we work really hard on this. And it's a really good thing for the students, this new student letter. And hoping those are the questions.
Thank you. We'll start by recognizing Senator Krogh.
Howdy, Senator Krogh, Austin, Wisconsin. I know we talked about the board, now, but can you elaborate a bit on the
Yes, that was actually kind of a minor change within here. I spoke to a faculty senator who's really interested. Let me find it actually on here. It's going to be 7.4.2.1. And this language was essentially already in the code. Just wasn't super clear. There was already used to participate in. And we just added in clarification as well. Just like a faculty senate was concerned about, and I think it's good to make sure it's clear that since those are really hard to reschedule, like for example, your naturalization meeting, you're longer to reschedule it. So we thought it was really important to add that.
Go ahead.
So does that mean that this will kind of be an umbrella for any other kind of?
No, we left the original language about legal proceedings. That's just like, it's more of a clarification.
Are there any other questions for the presenters? Yes, Senator Krogh.
Senator Krogh and Mays. So to follow up to that, was there an issue before with in this all-encompassing, like being able to ask that? Was there an issue with?
I don't believe so, but the reason why we added in is twofold. One, since it wasn't specifically mentioned here, it might be open to interpretation on instructor by instructor basis. Another thing too is that even though those can like technically be rescheduled, they would be really detrimental to the student who trying to land a job or whatever. They have to reschedule those issues. So we thought it was important to add that in there just for added clarification, so it wouldn't be like open to.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you all. So since this is emergency legislation, we will now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against SB 71-14? Senator Krogh. Yes.
Krogh, do great. Other Krogh. In the back, what's your last name? Moore? Maples. I forgot who was after that. Never mind, that's it. Sorry. I tried to get them in the order I saw placards.
Okay. Just as a reminder, there can only be 15 sponsors, so it's not like we're just leaving people out. Is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. We'll now move into period of voting on Senator Krogh's amendment. All those in favor of adding those senators as sponsors, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Senator Krogh, you still have the floor. Floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for the bill. Is there any debate for the bill? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 71-14, the rewriting of SR 7 bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. We're now moving to a period of old business, starting with SB 71-12, the Legislative Revision Act. Will the bill presenters please come to the floor?
Howdy, Senate. So, this bill was in committee, was in committee, this past week. We had a Rules and Regs meeting last Wednesday, where we kind of dissected this and went through it and made some changes, but Kyler is the original bill author, some of them.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm in front of you guys as a author for a bill, so this is super exciting for me. I even called my mom before I came to the meeting to let her know that I was presenting in front of you guys for the first time. So yeah, essentially, this bill is to ease the amendment process for when pieces of legislation are presented before us. Because we spend a lot of time as a Senate taking forever to change grammatical, formatting, punctuation, you name it, errors, shouldn't necessarily have to go through the formal amendment process, in my opinion. Because the formal amendment process is probably the most used amendment or the most used motion, subsidiary motion by the Senate, and it should be used for changing the words and crafting legislation to do different things rather than changing a spelling error or something like that. So yeah, general overview or changes that we've made in committee. The first one was changing the actual spelling error in the bill that Pro Tem Banks pointed out during the first reading. So you get to that. We also changed let it be enacted one a little bit to only have to have consent or verbal consent from the present legislative authors rather than having to get every single sponsor of a bill to agree, because if they didn't agree, then we can just go to the formal amendment process anyway. It just because getting every sponsor, if there's 15 of them, to all be in agreement, is kind of a messy situation. In the event that actually would happen. And then other than that, I think that's really the only thing that we really cleaned up besides changing the spelling errors and allowing for also formatting changes as well. So
For the record, the formatting kind of got lost in translation. I know that's a little wonky right now on the screen, but it was, yeah, it'll be taken care of.
yeah, so it will allow for formatting, grammatical, capitalization, punctuation, or spelling errors in the event that they are included in the bill. And essentially, that's just saying during debate, if someone was like, hey, you spelled than wrong and it should be then, I could be like, oh yeah, you're right, and then they can just change it, rather than having to, I move that we strike out then and insert then, stuff like that.
Yield our time for the floor.
Senator Crowe.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Karina about that before I even wrote the bill, and the issue that we have with that is that there's a lot of bills and resolutions that are presented before the Senate in open session, and so it would be kind of hard to have a separate set of eyes look at those bills because some senators write those bills the day of. Or during the meeting and things like that with open session. So we did talk about that, but that was the rationale behind not including that.
Are there any other questions for the bill? Seeing none, thank you guys. This is the second reading, so we'll now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against SB 71-12? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 71-12, the Legislative Revision Act, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into the second reading of SB 71-13, the Debating by Legislation Authors Act. Will the bill presenters please come to the floor?
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So I'm flying solo because Jet's not here, but we wrote this one together mainly because during the last meeting, we realized that, legislation authors, we're just gonna go with that, are not allowed to debate for or against their own bill. We kind of just thought that this was inserted into the code as a loophole so that people who wrote things that may have been controversial, weren't allowed to stick up for their legislation. We don't like that. So we want people to be able to speak on behalf of something that they were written. If there's no miscommunication within the Senate about what they're trying to do or what they wrote it for, we want them to be able to clarify that as well as debate for and against. So the only thing that we really changed in committee this past week is we changed, anytime it said bill specifically, we changed it to legislation authors, so that it doesn't limit it just to bills. That translates over to bills, acts, and resolutions. As far as I'm concerned, that's all we changed. We may have cleaned up a little grammar here and there, but other than that, no changes. And I yield my time to the floor.
Are there any questions for the bill presenter? None, thank you. We'll now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against SB 71-13? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 71-13, the Debating by Legislation Authors Act, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into a period of new business, starting with SR 71-09. Yes, Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, Rules and Regulations. I move that we table SR 71-09 until Chair Mendoza can be here to present it to you.
Seeing multiple seconds. We will now move into a period of voting on the motion. All those in favor of tabling SR 71-09, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into a reading of SB 71-15, the Constituency Affairs Absence Reform Act. No author is not here. Howdy.
All right, so, with the, howdy, I'm Colton Mandel. With the Constituency Affairs Absence Reform Act, we're planning on revamping and trying to reform how senators can excuse their absences. So in the past, it would be, you can go to tabling hours, or you can speak to an organization and about SGA. That's how you get your absences exempted. But since we're doing less tabling hours this semester, because they've largely been ineffective, we haven't gotten the back. We're going to start making it to where you can meet with our delegates, part of the Constituency Affairs Committee, or an executive from one of the organizations that are approved by, or that's paired with the caucus. So, for example, the Caucus of Engineering, they are paired with SEC, and May's caucus is paired with the Business Student. So, by meeting with one of those representatives or executive members from one of those councils, then you could also make it. That's basically all it is.
So this is the first reading, but are there any questions for Chair Mandel on this bill? Seeing none, this bill will go to the Constituency Affairs Committee. Now we'll move into reading of SB 71-16, the Referendum Revision Bill. Will the bill authors please come to the floor?
Hi, Senate. So my name is Dylan. I'm VP of Communications cabinet. Colton Mandel. Awesome. And so basically, Colton is my counterpart in the Senate, and I was going through the bill to address some of the concerns from the student survey. One of that was the students don't know how to reach out to student government, and so I thought of some ways that we could combat that, and which was the transparency pact that I briefly mentioned earlier. While going through SGA code to figure out what exactly students, what role they have in SGA, I noticed some code on referendums. And just for short context, referendums just go on the ballot in the fall or spring to be voted on by the student body. And then after that, they can be enacted as legislation. Current code for that is that it requires at least 5,000 certified signatures for referendums enacting constitutional amendments. So that is 5,000 for enacting statutes and 7,500 for enacting constitutional amendments. So it's a pretty high number, and if I were to put that on a transparency packet and say, hey, if you want to have a job in student government or you want to have a role in student government, you have to get this many signatures. I believe the original intent of that is because it went around Senate, and Senate would like to have input on something before it's enacted, and so we are hoping to combat that here. It's too difficult for the student body to achieve, as respectively 5,000 signatures equates to 33.7% of the total number of votes in the student body present election. For comparison, the state of Arizona uses 10% for the governor's election for referendums, and current code allows statutes to be enacted independent of the student senate informed position containing the amount of signatures in the senate or majority of vote of the student body. And so basically, it goes around Senate, and so if you scroll down a little bit. So if you scroll down a little bit, I am I'm wanting to enact an order for referendum petition to appear on the ballot with 1% of the total number of student body population at the time the referendum is proposed. And if the referendum enacted in statute is approved by a majority of students vote, it should also appear in front of Senate to require 1/3 support from total current sitting senators. And if the referendum petition containing a constitutional amendment is passed by the majority of student vote, it will also require 2/3 of support from current sitting. And the goal of this is just to make increased participation of students in student government while also increasing transparency.
And we're still allowed to have like a final say at the end, so if it's radical, then you automatically have to vote on.
With that, I yield my time for questions.
Thank you. Senator Palmer.
Senator Palmer on campus, when was the last time
So I couldn't find any recent record. I know vote rec was not a referendum, that's kind of a student opinion. But beyond that, I really couldn't find anything on the ballot. And that might be because one, students don't know, which is the purpose of the transparency packet. And two, if they saw it, I don't know if a lot of them would feel confident that they can get that.
Senator Oldham.
Senator Oldham off campus, why is the language there that it requires? I guess if we're putting something out to the student body who elects us, if they tell us that they want something, I feel like we aren't questioning what.
Yeah, and so that's a very real concern. My intent on that part of the bill was that, currently it's really high, and I that's a goal because it had no Senate component to that. And my goal with this, when I'm putting this in the transparency packet, isn't to encourage people to go around Senate to propose referendums. It's just to make the guidelines a little bit more clear and a little bit more manageable. And I definitely see your point on what you're saying with Senate to combat that. But I will point out that it is 1/3, and that's for a reason that, if it's 1/3 Senate, I believe most people proposing referendums get 1/3 Senate to approve. So it really isn't meant as a barrier. It's just meant as, to get a student Senate enrolled.
Also on that, they may not have all the information and availability to faculty that we have. So things that could make a ballot and get passed may go really against what we're already doing here and what the administration's about. So having us as like the checks and balances to that would be took was 600 signatures to get on the referendum and then pass it. So.
Pro Tem Banks?
Pro-Tem Banks. So could you clarify a little bit about the scope of, referendum? So like, do they have about the same level of authority that passed by these tenants signed by corporate have, or do they have, more authority? Does the administration have more of a requirement to follow that? What's the scope?
Yeah, and so this is rules and reg that I'm not too familiar with, but from what my interpretation of the bill was, it was that, once this referendum requires or gets the signatures, that needed, it could go straight on the ballot, and if voted by the students, by majority, it goes directly around. And so it has the same weight as something as legislation that would be proposed by Senate.
Chair Walther?
Walter, Finance. Would y'all be open to an amendment that specifies that, quote, total number of the student body population, and quote, uses student body population at the College Station campus? Student body population, keep in mind a lot of things. There are on internship, which is good, San Galveston, a focus. No, y'all take it. Yeah, we talked about it.
Chair Powell?
Chair Powell, Academic Affairs, can you explain your reasoning for that free state requires only senators to vote from any senators and most of our means on statute?
Yeah, and so the point of this was, like with the referendum, it is initially to give the people, you could say, kind of like a say on what happens in government and everything. And so usually a lot of times that comes with or referendum models within our country, sometimes don't really require anything with the Senate. And same with universities. It's very different with universities. And so the one third support, it's lower for the reason that the whole point of it is so if students wanted to propose something without a lot of student input. And as I said, this isn't to encourage students to go around Senate. In the packet, it's also going to be, hey, this is how you reach out to your senator to propose legislation with them. This is solely just to clarify the meaning and then also not hit them with, hey, if you want anything, like if you want to do a referendum or anything, you need this many signatures, because I don't want to ignite any misunderstanding or any like anger, unnecessary anger. So that is solely to give Senate support without making it too much to where students might not have the possibility to pass what the majority of students voted on. But that is for enacting legislation, but now for constitutional amendments, it is higher because that is an amendment for the entire code.
Pro Tem Banks?
Pro Tem Banks. So I understand why you have the clause saying the Senate in there. Passing a, thing that says abolish shooting LOL. Just voting it because it's a joke. But, and then our fantastic rules and regulations chair can talk very loudly if I'm wrong with what I'm about to say, but as far as I'm aware, the statutes for passing legislation are always based on percentage of on current sitting. So would y'all be open to an amendment changing that to like with, every other state? Total.
Yeah, we can talk about it in committee too, so go over all the amendments.
Are there any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, this bill will go to rules and regulations.
Thank you guys so much.
We'll now recognize SR 71-10, the Academic Advisor Accountability Resolution. Will the bill authors please come to the floor?
Howdy, guten Tag, Senate. So I'm here to present the Academic Advisor Accountability Resolution. This was born of observation that I had that many people
maybe not a majority, but a lot of people have an issue with the performance of their academic advisor. So behind me, there are just various quotes that I solicited from friends and just those around me who describe some of the issues and interactions that they have had with their academic advisors. And so you just kind of want to take note of what the current level of performance is while I'm presenting. So I think a problem right now with academic advising is that there isn't any formally of providing student feedback. Currently, there are measures such as the TICA evaluations that evaluate professors, evaluate courses, and the performance of those members of the A&M payroll, but not so much on the advising side. I've brought this up to Chair Powell. He said that he thought it was a good idea, and I also brought it up with current student regent Irvin Bryant from Prairie View A&M University. He said he was a fan of the spirit behind this resolution and the upcoming process that would follow along with it. Get posted on the progress. I think that this resolution is a solid solution to that lack of feedback issue that we currently have, and that it also aligns with the Provost Trickey's goals, which I can bring up if y'all want.
President Banks?
President Banks, so do you have any plans to further do research and look at solutions?
Yes, so I am planning on going to the open forum that they're going to have on Monday, MSC. On that, planning going to Provost Trickey's office hours, which should also be on Monday, that she told us about in her presentation. And keeping up with Student Regent Bryant on what his opinions are on this issue, if it should go beyond just the of our university. I'm willing to accept negative feedback.
Chair Wilson?
Regulations. Since it says the resolution has to be voted on, whether it passes or fails tonight, would you be open to tabling until after you attend the forum?
I'd rather pass it now, that way they can see it and be ready to talk about it on the.
Permission to follow?
I'll put you at the end. Chair Powell?
Chair Powell, there's permission to read the preface.
Go ahead.
Item E with Dr. Scott is working really hard on the student success initiative, and one of them board that has to do with advising. And in that meeting, he told me there is a December deadline on what they need, like, and I think it's all that, because that's so I think it in the form of question, would you consider what Wilson said, and maybe after the meeting, get like good language saying that's what we agree with every student success initiative like that.
I'm on the Student Success Initiative Committee, and this resolution and that committee really don't.
Also, it is a resolution that we're not, it's up for them to take this feedback if y'all agree with the language, and we can amend it also if you don't agree with the language. Amend it so that way they can use this information in their bill. It's not a bill.
Senator Palmer?
Senator Palmer off campus. I missed it. Is there any like job evaluation type forms that, like, for example, I'm not sure who the boss of our advisor is, whether that be the department head or yeah. So is there any like job evaluation forms that department heads have to submit, or is there any type of anything that
Not to my knowledge.
other like corporate organizations?
Chair Wilson?
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, do y'all have questions or talking points prepared for the form?
No, it's, for the registration, it was limited to faculty and staff. Back in line there. Then following up with.
When and where is that again?
It is on Monday, MSC 2400. I'd have to look at the time again. If you go to the Student Success Initiative website, it lists out her goals for upcoming freshman class, and it has different committees and stuff. And at the bottom it says, which is closed. I don't know if it does anyway, but that's the time. For Tim Banks. Are there any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, thank you all. This is a resolution, so we'll be voting on it tonight. So now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against SR 71-10? Chair Walters.
Chair Walters, Finance, I'd like to propose an amendment.
State your amendment.
I'd like to add a small.
In multiple seconds.
And, Chair Bank, or, Speaker Pro Tem Banks. And,
Okay, please stay in order. Are there any seconds for this amendment? Seeing second. Is there any debate? Hey, please stay in order. Is there any debate against Chair Walters' amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of adding those senators as sponsor to SR 71-10, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Walter, you still have the floor.
I yield my time.
Floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for. Is there any debate for this resolution? Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, Academic Affairs, I think this is a great resolution. I just wanted to extend this to have another amendment to send this to Dr. Timothy Scott, or whoever, Senator Holt thinks is appropriate. My time. I want to come up here so I can talk to Holt.
Pro-tem, thanks. So, Halloween, used to actually be called All Hallows Eve. It's a great holiday, you know. I don't know if we have tonight, but I think it's a pretty good time of meeting. Still talking, so we're just gonna, I like both sides. I yield my time to the floor.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate against. Is there any debate against?
Actually, can't debate for it. Make someone else do it.
Chair Walter,
Chair Walter, I'd like to propose an amendment.
please state your amendment.
To the last letter we resolved, I'd like to have it sent to Dr. Timothy Scott, Student Success Initiative leader.
Okay, seeing multiple seconds. Is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of adding Dr. Timothy Scott to letter further be resolved 3, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Walter, you still have the floor. Floor has been yielded to. We'll now move back into a period of debate for the bill, or the resolution. I apologize. Is there any debate for SR 71-10? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 71-10, the Academic Advisor Accountability Resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We will now move into a period of open session. Does anyone have any business for open session? Senator Hull. Please state the title.
For the Aggie.
Okay, please come to the floor.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
As you know, I'm Connor Holmes.
Burger Cross.
I'm Al Moore. I'm Drew Duggar. And today we'll be introducing the support for the Aggie Recovery Committee, or Communities Resolution. The Aggie Recovery Community is a recognized student organization that supports all Aggies on their journey to maintaining and continuing sobriety. Strengthens our Aggie community by facilitating a sober and educational environment. And the focus of the Aggie family should be on academic and personal excellence. And self-service provided by the ARC helps to improve the graduation rates of Aggies who are in various stages of recovery. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Texas A&M Student Senate supports and encourages the efforts of ARC in improving the lives of Aggies.
So a little bit about what we're doing. There's a task force. We're trying to find the Aggie recovery community a full-time location and some more support for them. We're in ongoing talks with a bunch of people about that. So we really don't want to get into any of the specifics because we don't want to be misinforming you on something because things are changing. We're trying to work through the process of finding them a long-term funding place and things of that nature. Senator Holt, he's on the task force, as is SB Sharp. I'm the executive cabinet member representing this group. In the first meeting, I knew that this was something that A&M needs to get behind. I heard a story of someone who only had 27 credits left, and she left university, and then she came back through this community, and now she's on her way to graduate. I think that's that there's so much more that we can do. We know the statistics for other universities and other states, but within our own state. And sadly, we're not leading by example here in Texas. We're not leading by example in the SEC, and we're not leading by example in the nation. We need to get the ball rolling. We need to make sure that all Aggies have a place. We need to make sure that all Aggies have a place where they can go and hang out, whether they're just going for a sober environment or whether they're going to continue their sobriety. And I'm going to stop because these are the people with the incredible stories and know way more about it than I do. But they have excited me to the max. I'm at a 12 out of 10 on getting this ball rolling.
Yeah, so I'm Alec Moore, the president and founder of the Aggie community, as well as a member of a person in long-term recovery. And I'm incredibly passionate about recovery, about peer support. Because without peer support, I wouldn't be here. You know, I unfortunately just with the genetics that I was dealt and with the situation I'm in, I need this peer support, and increasing the amount of support that we have will only increase the health and the wellness of our campus.
And my name is Drew Duggar, and I'm the treasurer of the Aggie Recovery Community. Happily, I'm 10 months sober. Without the Aggie Recovery Community, I would not be sober today. I cannot stress that enough. Just having a group environment to come back to at A&M is very important for people in recovery. It allows them to have a group that they can now associate with without having to worry about their difficulties with alcohol or other substances. Without the Aggie Recovery, I would not be here today, and I would not be able to get my Aggie ring.
And really quickly, before we get to questioning, whenever we approached Pro Tem Banks about this, he said, "This is great, but we need to do more." So just for your situational awareness, this is the first step. As more details get ironed out, we're going to be pushing more things through y'all, gather your support, and garner more Aggie support across the campus. So this is literally just the first step of the continuum of getting what ARC needs. With that, I think we're open to questions.
Great, thanks. Are there any questions for the presenters? none, thank you guys. So we'll now move into a period of debate on this resolution. Is there any debate against the resolution? Chair Qatar?
Ecology engineering, like to propose amendment,
Please state your amendment.
I'd like to be added as a sponsor, along with anybody else.
Are there any seconds? Seeing multiple seconds. All those in favor of passing this, is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into period of voting on the amendment. All those in favor of adding those senators as sponsors, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Kantari, still have the floor.
I only signed.
Great. Floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for. Is there any debate for the resolution? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 71-11, the support for the Aggie Recovery Community Resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Does anyone else have any other business for open session? Chair Kantar.
I'd like to propose a resolution.
Please state the title.
Recognizing Native American Alaskan Heritage Month resolution. Recognizing American Alaskan.
Please come.
Howdy, Senate. So November is actually Native American Heritage Month. It is celebrated on campus with the Multicultural Services Department. So I'm just going to basically read off the resolution. So President George H.W. Bush proclaimed the month of November as National Native American Indian Heritage Month. And that was on August 3rd, 1990. On August 31st, 2013, President Obama did the same. And then on August 31st, 2017, President Donald Trump did the same as well. There are also over 5 million Native Americans currently living in the United States and America. And there are 3 federally recognized Native American tribes in Texas today. And then the last point is just what I basically said earlier. And then part of our mission statement is to welcome students from different heritages, and it is important that we do recognize the different students.
And so that being said, we want to let it be further resolved that the 71st session of Texas A&M University Student Senate officially recognizes November to be the Native American Heritage Month, and the 71st session of Texas A&M University extends its support to Texas A&M organizations that promote Native American culture and diversity. And the Student Senate celebrates and recognizes the accomplishments of Native American Aggies on this campus. In addition to that, we would like to inform the student body that that the 6th annual Native American Heritage Month film series, sponsored by the Native American and Indian organizations, will be occurring over the next month. In regards to that, they actually have 3 sessions. They're open to all Aggies, and we highly recommend that you come out to these. There will be one on November 1st, one on November 8th, one on November 14th or 15th. They all start at 6:30 and have 3 sophomores. And there'll be short films and movies about Native American culture and history. So, with that being said.
Any questions?
Senator Krogh.
I do not know currently, but I know for our session, this is obviously for the 71st, it's the first time we passed the Native American Heritage Resolution. I know for this session as well, we did pass the Hispanic Heritage Month. So that's two, that's that I know on top of my head. I don't believe we pass anything else.
Are there any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. We'll now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against the resolution? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 71-12, recognizing Native American / Alaskan Heritage Month resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Is there any other business for open session? Seeing none, that concludes the period of open session. We will now move into a period of committee reports, starting with Pro Tem Banks.
All right, wow, that was a lot shorter than I thought it'd be. Yeah, a few things from my. Yeah, we got a few things from my committee report. We have a new director of records who replaced our last one, who's no longer Senator. That's Hunter Martin. Thank you very much, Hunter Martin, for stepping up and doing that. So he's taken minutes for us, which is, I think, an underappreciated job. And also one thing
Please stay in order.
One thing I've added to the position of director of records is contact. So we don't have a very good contact list, right? So he's going to be going through and getting a compiling list of contacts for us. So it'll just make research easier for us. We'll have these emails, these numbers to be able to go talk to for anything we need to. So that's staff, admin, faculty, people off campus. So any parties that we do research with, we'll have that compiled by him. So that'll be real good once we get that. And also our website is fully updated with legislation we've passed and has all of our current contacts on it. Which leads me into my bi-weekly shout outs. First one to Senator Ramirez for getting their website fully updated. I've got Senator Palmer. That was just a great job, seeing something he thought could be fixed and writing that legislation on the spot and getting it out. It's a great initiative. Thank you to Senator Palmer. Senator Thompson for obvious devotion to his costume, as well as just being very active on the floor. If I had to point to one senator, if somebody came up to me and asked, how should I be active in student senate, I would point to Senator Thompson as a great example. Senator Johnson putting in a lot of work on caucus leaders. We'll be getting to that next meeting, but she's for a new senator, she's doing a great job so far. So thank you, Senator Johnson. And on the topic of new senators doing great, Chair Wilson actually, this is actually her first session with the Senate, but she has just stepped up and owned her role as R&R in a way that I've never really seen another chair own their position. So great job. I'm not taking forever. One last one. It's long overdue. Maddie Telschow from Exec. The town hall was a great event, and I was talking to her yesterday at the BPSA dinner. I'm not going to steal her thunder. Y'all can talk about it if you want to, but she's got another great event coming up, and I'm really looking forward to it. She's done a great job. And I'm done. Questions?
Are there any questions for Pro Tem Banks? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, Rules and Regulations. I want to prematurely congratulate you all who are getting their rings on Friday. I can't wait to see you again. I think I just have one bill in committee this week. A couple of you have reached out to me as to when that meeting will be. Will probably be Thursday evening, 7 p.m. If you want to come to that. Y'all are all doing a great job. I'm glad we suspended dress code because we're all out. All that I have. I'm gonna let Corbin hit on the code review when he does his exec report because he's more entertaining than me. Yield the questions.
Are there any questions for Chair Wilson? Chair Walter. Senator Walter.
What's your costume?
I think we described it as minimal effort, minimal embarrassment. Dr. Wilson today.
Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts. I mainly raised my placards and call me as district attorney Harvey Dent.
Sorry. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Walter.
thank you so much to everybody for passing pretty obvious legislation for SR seven. It's unbelievable. I think that's the only piece of legislation I've seen in all of IA is sponsored for. That was really great. Thank you so much for passing that. If you have any opinions on that presentation, I generally was satisfied with what I saw, but if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to get in the passing or not passing a resolution next meeting about that presentation and our opinion of the recommendations there. That's all I got.
Are there any questions for Chair Walter? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Shimada.
Well, everyone looks amazing. I love all of your costumes, especially Barbie Day. I'm a huge Dark Knight fan. Yeah, anyways, sorry that this seems like everything's in the place. Just looking at it.
Are there any questions for Chair Shimada? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, Academic Affairs, again, good job, Student 7, that's gonna be great for us moving forward. I'll just kind of explain some of the timeline stuff. We'll be a meeting this Friday where we discuss the faculty senators and other members, and I'm pretty confident we'll get through that meeting, but it has to be there, then it's put on to the December faculty senate. At that meeting, it'll be read in front of Senate, faculty senate, and they'll propose amendments, get over it just like we. But unlike us, they don't also vote on it. Back to the afterwards. So at a minimum, it'll be voted on in the January faculty senate meeting, but they also have the ability to hopefully done by January. That's what I'm giving up there on what the timeline looks like. Other academic affairs things we're going to be working on now that that's done. There are a few people who come forward to me about specific investor policies on syllabi and general things more specific that I want to look into to see if we can solve those problems, as well as just anything else from my committee that now I'm more focused on things that aren't just students that are really going. And so, yeah, we'll be working on a lot of that. Also, if you're new to my committee, and I believe I read this correctly, it's Senator Dane, Vallejo, and Crossley, please see me afterwards. Number, be ready to our group meet. And also, I'm going to
Are there any questions for Chair Powell? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Mandel.
Hi, guys.
Howdy.
So I've been meeting with delegates, who've been joining so far to our committee. That their needs, and we've got some good feedback so far. We're still in the process of reaching out to everyone else and seeing what else we can do. But members of my committee continue to reach out to delegates, and hopefully by next meeting, I'll be able to. Anyone else wants to meet with the delegates or meet with an executive, you'll be able to. I also recommend probably meeting with your faculty senator. So if you're from the engineering school, with the engineering faculty senator, that way you can have a good relationship with them, and then we can continue like talk going forward and hopefully pass more stuff with them. But also, if you're new to my committee, can you see me afterwards, please? Any questions?
Are there any questions for Chair Mandel? None, thank you. Chair Kantar.
Vice Senate, Chair Kantar, College Engineering. Not a lot of updates. We had a committee meeting, but obviously we don't have a set time yet. But I do want to give a shout out to everybody that came to the committee meeting, especially Senator Gray for coming. I know you had a bunch of other meetings, and you showed us later and helped with a lot of ideas for the committee. We will be having a resolution regarding Veterans Day, which is Sunday, November 11th. So that will be, y'all want to work on that, please let me know. I know that I won't be else working on that, so please talk to me. I think I have everybody that's new to my committee in the group right now. So stay on the lookout so we can schedule nothing works out, we will be meeting Wednesday. I apologize if you have other commitments, but Wednesday is the best time for everybody. Other than that, there's a religious holiday going on, Diwali, which is the Hindu holiday. If you are free, Saturday is open to the public, is the Festival of Light. It's gonna be in, Navasota, I believe. If you're interested in that, let me know, I can send you the details. Then other than that, also I did reach out to the diversity inclusion, chair of the, graduate and professional student council. So I met Ikra and we're, scheduling to meet next week as well. So I'll give you all updates about that, I'll go through them a bit. And with that, oh, also, there's the Hello event that Chair Powell talked about. You guys have free time on Friday. I really encourage you all to go. I know that I'm going myself, so if you want to go to us group, just let me know about that. I'm going at 6:30. Okay. And one question.
Chair Powell, do you have a question?
Chair Powell, acting affairs. Do you think I'm a good resource to ask about where these things? Yeah, I guess,
I think he's a perfect resource to ask. So yeah, definitely talk to Chair Powell.
question of who follow.
I'll put you at the end. Senator Ramirez.
Senator Ramirez, Hawkins, is your birthday today?
It is actually, yes.
How old are you?
Out of order.
Joseph. Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, do you recommend everyone, buy all the
I highly recommend that. Yes, indeed. So again, if you guys are free Friday, it's at 6:30, so you can come and then if you have anything else to do, please come show support and you can do whatever plans you have later.
Go ahead.
Will there be free dinner provided to anyone who goes at these events?
Yes, there will be free dinner. Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Ravioso.
Chair, we also have Senate.
Howdy.
Nothing crazy, but if you are interested in helping, with the big vote, party to the polls, we're actually having an event on November 6th to the MSC, please come after. Also, if you would like to follow, the Gig the Vote, your Twitter and Facebook handles are at Gig the Vote, PANU. So Gig the Vote, lowercase PANU. But that's.
Are there any questions for Chair Ravioso? Chair Kutar.
Do you mind giving updates about the Met meetings?
Oh, yeah, sure, definitely. So kind of update, we actually just had a task force meeting for the Senate this evening. So right now, we actually finalized our artwork completely. We're actually going to be having a big table. We'll be having a tabling event at Fiesta, so you guys will come out there, learn a little more about the meetings. We got some candy as well. Definitely come out to that. We're actually having third event. We're actually posting up our banner that we're going to be making. November 5th, posted up at the PTA event. We'll bring out information as well, so please come out to that. Okay. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions for Chair Ravioso? Seeing none, thank you. Chair will send out a brief update to her report.
And Chair Wilson, rules and regulations. Sorry, make it super quick. I've been monitoring the weather. It looks pretty good, so we are going to continue with Subco after the meeting.
Okay, we'll now move into a period of executive reports, starting with SVP Sharp.
Please close your laptops again for exec reports. Thank you.
Howdy, Senator.
Howdy.
Bear with me, I have a cold. I'll try to get through it without sneezing. First of all, happy Halloween. Second, I just want to say thank you for your overwhelming support on the recovery resolution. I was shaking the whole time and my heart is just so happy for that. I've been working so close to Ag Recovery every week and to have them here and seeing y'all just in the flesh say like, I want my name on that and immediately all those cards went off, like I will never forget. A little bit of a diversity update. So At this time, we're not planning on putting up another candidate because she co-authored the deep dive. She was advising him at the time in that role, so she's completely up to speed and has already begun to lead diversity commission meetings. They've had two since this transition happened in the last 10 days. And they're doing a great job. They're moving forward. They're checking things off the list. They're working really hard. I met with the provost yesterday to discuss some of the big picture concerns and made a one-pager of those that they will be sharing with student leaders and the commission will be going through. Yeah, so of course there's always hurdles, but I think we're approaching it the right way and we keep moving forward. So if anyone has questions specifically about that, feel free to ask. And I ask that if you are wondering like about the personal situation, that you ask James directly and also just give him grace and check on him as a human as we move forward. Another realm of diversity, we have officially completed the diversity calendar, which is a public Google calendar that anybody can subscribe to. So if Mitch will allow it, then I will ask him to put the link to that Google calendar in y'all's minutes, so that way you can subscribe to it if you want. But I read all the bulk mails and then put diversity focused in that calendar. So if you just want to attend and know what's going on in the realm of diversity organizations, you can. We've got Social Sunday coming up, so that's on there. The Flag Day is coming up on Sunday, that's there. I already put the Hillel event on there. So I try to keep it as updated as possible. There's a few others also helping with that. So if you want to be subscribed to that, I hopefully will get that out to y'all tonight. Update on the survey that Dylan talked to y'all about. So I am 1/3 the way through the responses. They kept growing and growing. Like the mission is over 350, but I am trekking along. Taking me a little longer than I thought it would, but I am going and doing individual personal responses to each person. So I will have it. I'm giving myself a little bit grace on it, but I will get it done this week. A little bit of food for thought on faculty senate. I think I'm getting some good feedback from them, from the provost and from members of faculty senate that I'm connected with, that they're respecting us, they're taking it seriously, they're appreciating us, which is really exciting. Very different place than we're in as SGA from a few years ago. So I just ask that as we move forward, if you are in a position where you're working on something, you want to approach faculty senate, just make sure that one, you're really representing us well, so that way they can respect us, and two, run it by Mitch or me, so that way whenever I'm in conversations with these people, there's not surprises of like, oh, SGA already met with us about this or something like that. So we can kind of be unified and be more likely to succeed on something we're trying to get them. But so far, really good feedback on that. And then the last thing is just be safe tonight if you're doing anything and take care of yourselves. We're in the home stretch here of the semester and it's about to be November and it's okay to like take time for yourself and do nice things for you during the week. Don't have to study all the time. You don't have to say yes to everything. Take care of yourselves. We're in this together with the final stretch. That's it. Thank you.
We will begin questions with Peter Salazar.
It's not off the table, but time-wise, we're already really behind. I just don't want to inhibit the progress. But if you have an argument you'd like to make, I definitely.
Are there any other questions for SPP Sharp? Chief Justice Newman.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I must say I was highly disappointed with the Student Senate when we get to the end of our meeting and we haven't had our discussion, our bi-weekly discussion of miniature horses. So hopefully next week we'll pick that back up. An update on the pumpkin family here. Thank you to Pro Tem Banks for putting together these big placards to make sure we're all aware of who we're talking to whenever we're addressing these pumpkins here. I'll maintain their residence here in the Student Senate room for the next few meetings, at least in the spring. Third note is Mitch's Lisa's little pocket protector there reminds me of my days in high school when I used to be that kid who always had a notepad in my front pocket, the red pen, then the pencil, and the black pen. So I appreciate your costume. Okay, as for what Chair Wilson was discussing for the code review, so I'm guessing it'll take until about week 3 or 4 in order to fully get moving on this issue, on this topic. And what I mean by that is actually getting the cycle of looking at the same time about every week, or really on our toes on the game, with everything. At least for this past week, hectic schedules as expected. We were unable to actually meet, but we were able to send in the comments that we made for the section of the code that was due to each other, so we could at least get that. I'm most likely going to leave discretion for how we will present those changes to the student senate and to whatever body should be reviewing those suggestions. I'll leave that up to Chair Wilson and other members who are more familiar with the operation of the student senate and those sort of procedures. Last point. I really appreciated, and this really moved me when Chair Powell came up here before us. I really appreciated that because I think it demonstrated when everybody got quiet, a recognition of the sort of unity that we all have, certainly the unity of the Aggie spirit that we have being on this campus and what that means to us, and as well the extension just single life loss and all the lives that were lost. Mean a lot. It was very moving to hear everybody become quiet and to see Chair Powell come up here and represent the next. I do
Are there any questions for the Chief Justice? You're welcome.
For finance, how does that fresh dry clean room feel?
It's not been dry cleaned yet, but I have my my secretary on me. When I say secretary, I mean not that I have a personal secretary. I don't mean to suggest that. The secretary within judicial court of picking it up and test it because it does look rather. More. I know. We'll get on that though. We'll be using that money. It won't be pocketed as well.
Oh, okay.
Chair Wilson?
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, did your allocations cover dry cleaning of your rooms? Commissioner Paul?
Pro Tem Banks?
So, what is with the brothers? Should I not have worn them?
I think they're great. Nice and room. So I think the pumpkins were great, especially for the period leading up to Halloween. But since the winter holidays are coming in, snowmen or I don't know, reindeer.
Yeah, it is disconcerting that we don't have a student senate meeting that I'm aware of that is this holiday. So I think your point is well taken.
Senator Thompson?
Thompson called the Lord, give you a second chance, you still didn't do it. Are you going trick or treating this week?
No, I don't think I have trick or treated with it.
What? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Senator Fisher?
Senator Fisher called the Lord. Are you not going to?
I would have expected that sort of question from this one over here. And no, I will not be going.
Pro Tem Banks?
Pro Tem Banks. Were you by chance a little bit too busy editing syntax with your pocket protector to go sugar?
Oh my God. Chill out. Senator Thompson?
Again, district attorney,
Under caucus.
will you, will you ever be?
I'll make a commitment to at least attend one.
Are there any other questions for the Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy. First off, thank you all. I think this was a really good meeting. We had a lot of legislation, a lot of respectful conversations. First thing is there is an event being hosted by the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life called Love Mom and Dad. This is going to be a discussion where parents of former students who passed away from hazing are going to share their story. It's a really big deal that they're coming to Texas A&M, and it's going to be on Tuesday, November 13th. There's going to be a session at 6 p.m. and a session at 8 p.m. in Rudder Theater. So you can get tickets; they're free, but you have to get a ticket before through the MSC box office. So just go to boxoffice.tingley.edu. I think it's a really powerful event. It would mean a lot to the families, a lot to our community here if you would go. So a lot of people, a lot of the IA will be going, including myself. So let me know if you want tickets. They're easy to find and they're free. The next thing is shout out to the operations committee and specifically with archiving. So for those of you who don't know, we have a lot of files and stuff just spread out around the Senate office right now. And they've been great about putting that in binders all the way back to the 34th session of Senate. So we have the archives up on the shelves now, and that's really exciting. I think the next step with that, they're going to put it in the digital form on the website. But it'd be really cool for us to just have a permanent place for all of our legislation. So shout out to that team. The next thing is please continue signing up to speaking to student organizations. I know it's kind of tedious, like just adding another meeting to our schedules, but it really means a lot to organizations. They really appreciate having us there and hearing from us. Like Dylan presented earlier, they want to hear from SGA and they're really interested in us, but we have in the past struggled with communication. So this is the best way to actually get in front of them and tell them that we care about them. The next thing is in regards to Faculty Senate and Student Rule 7. I am going to be meeting with the Faculty Senate speaker. Not about Student Rule 7, just about Senate in general, just both of our initiatives and how we might be able to help each other. So like Chair Powell said, if you want to meet with respective faculty senators in your caucus, I encourage you to do that. But please be respectful and please don't hone in on Student Rule 7 and ask them for their vote. Last session we had an issue where Speaker Wang actually told us to stop reaching out to them because they were getting really frustrated about us specifically reaching out about Student Rule 7. So with regards to Student Rule 7, please leave that to Chair Powell and other leadership. But if you just want to meet with your senator about other things going on in your caucus and just opening that dialogue, I highly encourage you to do that. The next thing is with Student Rule 7, since we passed that tonight, there will be the Student Rules meeting on Friday with Dean Reaper as the chair of that, and Chair Wilson sits on that committee. So we will have representation in the room there to talk about Student Rule 7. I don't think it'll struggle in that committee, but then it will go to Faculty Senate, and myself and Chair Powell will be following that. So we'll be present to see the dialogue, see the discussion, and hopefully get that through, and that can be something that our session can be about. The next thing is Senator Black is working on a Senate PR order. So I know the SGA PR order is out right now, but he's trying to get some clarification on what items people would be interested in because some of them are a little pricey. We don't want to just like stuff out and not move orders. So we're going to do a quick poll with your placards on the items. So I'll list the items real quick first, and then if you would raise your placard for what you might be interested in. So the items are going to be a polo, a t-shirt, a hat, a decal, and a pin.
Your hand works, you don't have to pass it on.
Yeah, that also works. So like the t-shirt is probably going to be about $15. The polo is probably going to be closer to $30. Hat 15, decal a couple bucks, and the pin is up in the air, but it could range from $10 to $20 for like a little lapel pin. I mean, not like a pin, like a nice lapel. You're out of order. So please raise your placard. Yes. We can put it up there.
Senator Walther.
Senator Walther, Mace Caucus. House of Coldest t-shirt going to cost the same.
The House of Coldest t-shirt is on the SGA PR order, so that's not in the PR order. So I don't know about that.
Are you in that period of question?
No. So regardless of the logo, just based on like actual items, please raise your placards if you'd be interested in getting a t-shirt, or raise your hands. Now please raise your hand if you're interested in a polo. Okay. The hat. If you'd be interested in a decal, like on your laptop or your car. Okay, and then finally the lapel pin. Okay, all right, thank you for that. Senator Black will have that out probably within the next week or so, and we'll get it finalized. We just wanted to get some feedback. The final thing I have to say for tonight is happy Halloween, but please stay safe and make smart decisions. Have fun, we're in college, but have a good head on your shoulders. And with that, I'm open to questions.
Senator Crowe?
When you release the legislation after
Yes. The ones that we have available. We don't have everything available because not everything was recorded, but everything that we have available, we've been putting in binder, not just legislation, so also like absence forms, voting forms, whatever, it's all in the binders, and we'll just put that all under folders.
I believe Senator Walther had a question. Senator Walther had a question? No. Chair Walther?
Chair Walther, Finance, birthday is next Tuesday.
Granted. Senator Rodriguez?
You might have to go to find out.
DA Dent, do you not have anything for us? Any more questions for the presenter? All right. Closing roll call?
Please stay quiet. We got out quick tonight. Let's keep it that way.
All right.
SVP Sharp.
Howdy.
Chief Justice Newman. Howdy. Speaker Parker.
Howdy.
Chair Wilson.
Howdy.
Chair Mandel.
Howdy.
Hey, come on. Chair Walker. Howdy. Chair Mendoza. Chair Powell. Howdy. Chair Rojoso. Howdy. Chair Kamada.
Senator Walker, hush.
Chair Quintaro. Senator Ahmed.
Howdy.
I'll get it down. Senator Meany. Howdy. Senator Behnke. Senator Berger. Howdy. Senator Black. Howdy. Senator Carlson. Howdy. Senator Carter. Senator Castellanos. Senator Kohler. Senator Collins. Howdy. Senator Crossan. Guys. Senator Dang. Howdy. Senator Drake.
Howdy.
Senator Elizondo. Senator Fisher. Howdy. Senator Lieberman.
Howdy.
Senator Gupta. Senator Hardison.
Howdy.
Senator Harrar.
Howdy.
Senator Harris.
Howdy.
Senator Hitchner.
Howdy.
Senator Hull.
Howdy.
Senator Hutto.
Howdy.
Senator Johnson. Senator Virginia Crowe.
Howdy.
Senator Olivia Crowe.
Howdy.
Senator Lopez.
Howdy.
Senator Latrell. Senator Maldonado.
Howdy.
Senator Garcia.
Please stay in order.
Senator Maples. Senator Martin.
Howdy.
Senator McGill.
Howdy.
Senator Moore. Senator Alejandro Moreno.
Howdy.
Senator Luis Moreno. Senator Musil. Senator Nebula. Senator Nava. Senator Olin. Senator Palmer.
Howdy.
Senator Paul.
Howdy.
Guys, just a little bit. Come on. Senator Papula.
Howdy.
Senator Ramirez.
Howdy.
Senator Roberts.
Howdy.
Senator Clarissa Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Senator John Ryan Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Senator Salazar. Senator Scoggins. Senator Schaefer. Senator Seagal. Senator Sunrose. Senator Thompson.
Howdy.
Senator Strand. Senator Tomlinson. Senator Willie. Senator Vallejo. Senator Sarka. Senator Walter. Senator Walker.
Howdy.
Reed. Wheeler. Senator Young. Senator Dunn.
Are you going like that?
Louis, get out of here, go change. Hurry up. By the way, Chief Justice Newman will be at Sumco. Yeah. He is. Wes, that means you have to go.
Already was.
You're going to? What's up? You're all going to Sumco? Heck yeah.
Having been,
She was Yeah, so I talked to IA and they're kind of like on the same page.
she directly towards.
So I don't know, that was like our mission. So when things go over there, whether you can choose
Sorry, I should have done.
Corbin, go change. Yeah.
When I spoke to personally, yeah, it was so get faces back here. So anyway, but yeah, so just so you're on the same page.
Yeah, no. Certification now is like whatever. Want to make sure. But if you just
Mitch didn't get to.
She was here. I was talking to her about freshman. Anyway, we started for her.
Makes me giggle. I mean, who doesn't? Just kidding. What? When? Oh, yeah, something different. It's a personal thing, not a sin thing. He's like, I don't care.
I'm leaving.
Bye.
Bye. I'm leaving. Now you're getting out so early.
Sort of. He landed and then she was like,
Mr. Dr.
Professor.
Mr. Doctor.
No, that's what I'm
I almost came as Frank Gallagher.
No, it's down below us. Because I tripped on your bag 4 times. Every time I got up, I fell. Yeah, offended that I just got invited to this by her.
I didn't invite you.
3 years of sitting later. And I'm Mitch. 3 years later, I'm still missing that. The first year I was like a good second dude, but then last year I was pregnant. And now I'm a box here. Everybody was still like 5.
I'm going.
Like,
You want to go?
Oh, yeah.
Should I do it? Yeah.
Like I would go in like the polo with.
Do I just press stop?